Hello friends, welcome to SQL tutorial part 1. Today we are going to discuss the basic things like how to install SQL Server, how we can install SQL Server Management Studio, and then how we can connect to the SQL Server which we installed, and then how we can create a new database on that server. So let's move on to the downloading page. From the Microsoft SQL Server download area, we can download the free versions of SQL Server, latest SQL Server 2019 developer version. Right now, I just downloaded and installed. Also, if you want, you can install the Express edition, which is also a free edition. And secondly, we need to install uh, SQL Server Management Studio, that is SSMS, which is a client tool which can be used to connect to the SQL Server which we installed. So right now I installed both SQL Server and SQL Server Management Studio. So once you installed SQL Server and SQL Server Management Studio using uh, either just search for SSMS, or you can type it in the run command and select that option. Okay. When we open the SQL Server Management Studio, it will prompt a connect to the server uh, dialog box where we need to specify the server name. Right now I installed the software SQL Server on my local machine, so this my desktop, so the server name will be localhost, or I can give the machine name. Suppose the SQL Server is installed on another machine, centralized machine, so that time I need to give the IP address or the name of that machine here. So secondly, we need authentication. Right now I using Windows authentication because I installed the server using Windows authentication. Suppose in actual projects, you might not need to use Windows authentication. Instead, you need to use SQL Server authentication. That time, your database administrator will create a SQL user account for you, and you need to give the uh, username here and the password on the password text box, and just click on connect. That's all. And the server type will always database engine, where we are storing the database. Other options are for the data warehousing projects, for the reporting, integration service, analysis service. If you are working on that, then the server type needs to be that. Otherwise, we need to choose only the database engine. So right now I am selecting database engine and just clicking on connect. Okay. So once you connect to the server, it will give an object explorer where you can see the database created under the database folder, and the user accounts will be shown under the security tabs. And another important thing is this integration SQL Server agent, where you can see the jobs, all those things will be shown under this folder. Okay, let's create a new database. So for creating a new database, I can choose two options. One is using the user interface. Otherwise, I can use the uh, script for that. So right now I just creating a database using user interface. So just click on database, right click on it and select new database. So it will prompt a new window where you need to give the database name. So right now I just giving my database as just test. And when I create a new database, it's actually SQL Server actually create two files. One is called .mdf file. So if I go to the last, we can see a file with test.mdf, and the second file will be test_log.ldf file. So what .mdf and .ldf file? .mdf file with the extension is the metadata file. That's a main file where the data will be stored in the hard disk. And the log file .ldf file is the log file. It stores the transaction logs. So after creating this database, when I do some operations, transactions like insert, update, delete on the database tables, those will be logged to the log file. So this file is mainly focusing for that. So always remember, when we create a new database, it will create two files. One is test, the main file, that is .mdf file, and the second one is .ldf file. Okay, let's move on to the options tab. So in options tab, we have a different options like collision, recovery model, compatibility level, and containment type, and other config features. So all these are set by the database administrator or database architect, who will decide what are the minimal or optimal configurations that needed for that project. Database collision is very important because by default it will set the case insensitive the collision for the database. If the project needs case insensitive kind of collision, then we need to choose the corresponding value from here, or we are for targeting any specific kind of language, then we need to choose that accordingly. And the recovery model, we have three recovery models like full, backlog, simple. The recovery model uh, will specify how the logs needs to be created, whether we need to create a log for each transaction, or we don't need to create any log for bulk insert or bulk operations, or just to use symbol, it will reuse the space which is used for a particular transaction. Once it is completed, that will be freed up, and that will be available for the next transaction. So that kind of recovery model we need to choose. It's all depends upon the project and how sensitive our data are. And compatibility level is it's a whether we need to target any specific server version, or right now we can just choose the latest one. And the containment type is nothing. We can isolate a particular database from the server instance. So inside the server instance, we can create multiple database. So if I want to kind of uh, isolate a particular database from the server instance kind of objects, then we can choose this as none or partial. We have other options like auto close. These all are configurations which we can change later also. Okay, I just right now uh, given the name, database name as test, and I just click on OK. So it created a database with the name test. Okay, if I open the test database, we have different folders like database diagram, tables, views, external resources, programmability, security, storage, all those things. Right now these tables will be empty because I didn't create any table, and the database diagram is nothing but it will show the entire database objects we can pull into that diagram. So it will show the table and its relationship, how it is connected. All those things will we can display in database diagram. Right now there is no table, so let's create a new table. So for creating a new table, again, it's we can use the GUI, we can use the graphical interface, or we can create using script. So right now, always remember this, we need to choose the database name here. Otherwise, by default it will be master. Right now, I just created this test, so just we can select the test database. For creating a new table, we can use the script command, or we can right click on tables and create new table. Okay, just now I creating a table, a sample table using script. So for creating table, use the create command, create table. Let's say a table, we need to give a table name. I just giving employee. Okay, then I need to specify the columns. Okay, so I just creating a new column called ID. I'm selecting its data type as integer. Then I would like to use the identity feature that I will discuss on next video. So identity is nothing but we don't need to give the value for that particular column. When we insert a new value, uh, it will insert an auto increment value to it. Let's say if the table contains a record, and if I try to insert a second record, then ID column will have 2 as the value, and I am setting the primary, it's as a primary key, then name another. So some of the uh, words are system keywords in the SQL Server. So in order to escape that, we can use the square bracket. So within the square bracket, we need to specify the name. So I'm choosing varchar 100, and I am giving not null name, then email. For email also, I'm selecting 100 as a data type, varchar 100 as a data type, giving not null, then address. So again, address is kind of a system kind of keyword, so I just giving square bracket. Then for address, I'm just giving 250, and I'm giving null. So if I execute this script, I need to give a comma. Yeah, it created a table called employee. Okay, if I refresh it, then I can see the new table which is created under tables folder, that is employee. If I expand this, then I can see the table columns which is mentioned here: ID, name, email, address. So if I select, if I do select, just select star from employee. If I select that particular line and execute, that will be executed. Right now there is no entry, so just try to insert a new value. For inserting, we can use the insert into command, insert into employee. Then we need to specify the column names. So we don't need to give the value for ID because it is auto increment. That means it will set by the SQL Server itself. Okay, I'm giving Tom as the name, then email as tom at the rate just test.com, then address, okay, float number 100. Okay, then I'm just inserting that value. So when I execute that script, we can see one row affected. Again, let's see, is it inserted? Yeah, it's inserted with the ID as 1. So that's the use of identity. So we create a new database and just creating a sample table. So right now, when I created the database, I given the collision as default. That means it's not a case sensitive, because if I choose, let's say, when I created the employee table, I given employee, the first character is capital and remaining things as small letters. So let's see how, if I use both the small and capital, see, I got the result. There is no difference. It's a it's not a case sensitive. If the collision is given as case sensitive collision, then if I created employee, then if I try to pull the record using this script, it will throw error. Also, that is for the sorting also and the data comparing. Use where clause, and if I choose name equal to Tom, if I use a small letter, it's also give the result, but in the case sensitive collision, it will not return this record. So that's a different. So these are the basics of SQL Server. We'll discuss the create script, the data definition language and data manipulation language on next video. Thanks for watching.